After saying goodbye to my family, we loaded up the vehicles and headed to our next destination of Santa Fe, New Mexico. Along the drive, we encountered a little bit of rain, but it cleared up near Trinidad, Colorado. My loaded down Jeep battled up Raton Pass, and we crossed the border into New Mexico to be welcomed with a beautiful sunset and herds of elk. Our goal was to camp for the night in Raton, but after looking for places to camp and having no luck because of COVID closures, we opted for a dog-friendly hotel in, of all places, Las Vegas. But not the Vegas you're thinking of, the original Las Vegas in New Mexico. Have you ever wandered down? After a quick breakfast, we headed to the property. Once we get off the highway and onto the frontage road, we feel relief. We know we're headed to a relaxing place away from the busy city. Along the way, we stopped to pay our respects to our dear friend and desert neighbor Costa, who recently passed away in a motorcycle accident on the frontage road. We sure do miss him a lot. One of the many things we'll always remember about Costa is how he drove really fast down the dirt road, which we can't do anyways, especially with our vehicles loaded down with all of our belongings. I am so excited. We are pulling up to our desert property. It's just beautiful! I love it down here. And the bumpy road is approximately 3 miles away from our cabin. We acquired this property through a mutual friend, and they didn't want it anymore, so we offered to buy it. And they said sure. And now, whoa, bumpy, lots of stuff in the car. Now we have this awesome little oasis in the desert. It's a great getaway from, well, we're away from the springs now, totally. But it's a great getaway from towns and the chaos of everyday life. Plus, it's great during coronavirus time because you can self-isolate as long as you want. Oh, God! I better slow down. I better concentrate. Okay, well, I'll turn the camera around. Oh! So you can see what I'm dealing with. After about a half hour of washboard roads, we parked, set up camp, and threw out the anchor. Remind me to have Steve tell you the reason why we do that later. But for now, join us for a little tour of the property. Okay, we just parked at the property. Set up a little shade and our cooler. And Bella and I are gonna check out the cabin. Right, Bella? Yeah. So here's our bunkhouse, recently finished by a friend of ours' father who's very skilled at building buildings. Here's the other section of our property that has some old buildings on it. We're deciding whether to keep or tear down. Oh God, it's hot. Keeping an eye out for rattlesnakes. It's that time of the year. Security camera in use. Better believe it. We've had people break in, unfortunately. There she is. There's our little cabin. I love it. Let's go check it out. Cabin set up. More later. While I was doing that, Steve was busy emptying the van into an attached tent we had, and Bella had made herself at home in there. Thankfully, some friends were able to make it down and enjoy a night with us before we headed out, and we were all super excited to see a full double rainbow after the rain.
Wow!
That's awesome!
It's so pretty.
Let's go up there and see if we're in.
Look at that! It was a beautiful ending to a wonderful day. We woke up early the next morning and took a walk to the neighbor's house. The Beckers have become really good friends of ours throughout the 5 years of us owning this property, and they have a really cool house that they built by hand. Costa really was the soul of this desert community, and we always loved hearing stories about how his anchor got in the desert and also about his fascination with mermaids, both of which come into play when we name our boat. His wonderful wife, Katarina, had lots of projects planned for us, including a privacy gate, shaded bar, and Ramada as well, which obviously works great when the boys took a break in the shade to play on their phones. Bella helped as well. Not. Later that evening, we finalized the paperwork, escrow transfer, and bought the boat we were hoping for. We named her Konstantina in honor of Costa. She's a 2002 Fountaine Pajot Athena that is 38 feet long. Look for more info about her in the next video. After that, we packed up the van and enjoyed one more beautiful night before we left for the rest of our road trip, but not until we interviewed our wonderful neighbor, Katarina.
Okay. All right. So, I gonna answer a few questions that Randy and Steve, and together with Cody, asked me. And when I look at what's in front of me, I see, who are you? Nala Shashale. Who are you? And how do you know the Hitchcocks? All right. So who am I? I think that's a question that at this point in my life, I probably answered different than I would have in my 60s and my 50s and my 40s and my 30s. So I'm Katarina, Maria, Martha, Roth, Becker. So that's just like my name and my outer reality. Who am I? Today I would say I'm a daughter of God. That's maybe only 12 years since I can say that. So I am a sister to Randy, to Steve, and who I am is trying to live up to that knowing that I am a daughter of God, and to me God is love, and as a daughter of God, I attempt, I try, and I do bring whatever I understand love being into this world. So how do I know Randy and Steve? Well, about 5 years ago, they came up and said that they were our new neighbors who had bought Butch and Skip's place just down the road, down the driveway from us. Costa and I, at that point, we were very open and happy to see that some young people are coming and being interested in the land and the life we have carved out here in the desert of New Mexico. So that's how we got to know them. And over the 5 years, I think we had many very genuine, authentic moments of being together as human beings. So that's that. We knew from the get-go that Randy and Steve still had a life in Colorado and had to get Cody through high school before they might make New Mexico their new home place. And so we knew that having them near would be sort of an intermittent, periodic thing. And we understood that, although it would have been nice to have them more permanently here. But that was clear to us. And just very recently, we learned that Randy and Steve are changing their life plans, in part sparked by COVID and all the changes that we all are experiencing right now in this country and throughout the world, and that they want to have a period of time where they live on a boat as a couple, as a family. And I think it's absolutely exhilarating. I think it's a great decision to allow the space of, let's see what's next in our life, a space of openness in a different way than the desert allows openness. that's what we learned, or what I learned. I have to say that I'm a very recent widow. Costa, the love of my life, my amazing partner, father with me, parent, co-parent of our children, got killed in a motorcycle accident in the fall. When Randy and Steve knew that they want to live on a boat, they approached me and said if I would be okay with them naming the boat after Costa, whose full name, Greek name, is Konstantinos. And so them choosing to name their boat, their vessel of life for a while, Konstantina, I feel very honored by that. It expresses the trust they had in Costa and probably in both of us as a married couple for 40 years, almost 40 years. So I think it's a good omen, and I'm totally honored by their choice. So the next question is, tell us a little bit about Costa. So Costa, the love of my life, the avatar in my life, is of Greek and Swiss background. His mother is Greek, his father was Greek, his father was Swiss, and they met during World War II when Costa's dad worked for the International Red Cross in Greece, and Costa's mom being a translator to the volunteers of the International Red Cross. Costa was by training a surgeon, but was actually extremely gifted and talented with his hands and his eyes and his heart. So when I met Costa, I had already lived in the United States for a year doing my PhD here, and we fell in love, and we knew that was it. We had to be together. He came and followed me over here and had to give up surgery, his position as a surgeon at a big hospital in Zurich, lived the life of an immigrant and for a while underdog, and do whatever it takes to survive. Costa was a very gregarious, or is a very gregarious, curious, loving human being who, with his Greek temperament and Swiss straightforwardness, would always be right up in people's face. And I think the biggest thrill in his life was to make people smile, to get a positive reaction out of people. That was often not quite understood, but Costa was extremely generous with his heart, with his belongings, with who he was as a person, and would help anyone at any time however he could. But he would be straight up in your face, and I think for an American person that can be uncomfortable, because like, whoa, give me space. The touching and the hugging and the being so direct and intensely looking into your face and wanting a reaction might have or did startle a lot of people. Costa was extremely adventurous, but also had an incredible trust into the universe and in basically people. But he was not reckless, even when he was adventurous. So I think his name being sort of the guardian for Randy and Steve and Cody's new adventure is a good omen. You know, he had a wisdom that is hard to describe. He had a people's knowledge that is hard to describe, and the care for people, an incredible care for people. And he was able to fix about anything. He just would watch craftsmen or other people, how they approached a task or a craft, And he could do it. He was a true Renaissance man and one darn good human being. And those are rare these days. So what are your concerns for us and hopes for us? Well, I'll start with the hopes. I hope you guys always stay true to that inner spark of the divine, that inner guidance that we all have, and rely on love. Don't bite into fear, and be honest with each other and grow through all the challenges that a marriage brings. That you know there is a bigger reality than us. That's my hope, that you can stay connected with the divine, with the universe, and with the people around you. Ultimately, we are all brothers and sisters. Do I have concerns for you? Not really, because I perceive you guys as quite grounded and honest. The concern may be keep on really, really, really listening to each other. Listen more than you talk. When one of you, might be Cody or Randy or Steve, feels uncomfortable or is unsure or is moody or angry or gets challenged by fears, just be there. Hold the space for this to happen and learn everything you can. Learning is great. So, final advice or thoughts, I think I wrapped it up a little bit also in what I said, is like, stay true to who you are. Enjoy that journey of expansion in getting to know who you truly are, each one of you alone, but also the three of you, the two of you as parents and the three of you as a family together. And when your buttons get pushed, just know it's a lesson to learn. Never, never, never give up on each other. It's not worth it, because God's love, the universe, is not giving up on us. So why would we give up on each other? Keep your safety in mind and stay in touch. I love you guys. Thanks. All right, what do I have to do to shut it down? Opa!